The international break is done, kind of, nearly. So that means we have to look forward or apprehensively towards a Forest match again. Yay! Forest will be taking on Chelsea this weekend, but there's so many topics to cover off. We'll discuss them all today. Sean Dyche, Ange, football, players coming back, injuries, I don't know, loads of stuff. So please sit back, relax, make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you subscribed, make sure you check out the sponsors of the video, OK Jerseys, get your football shirts for 15 quid, use code FFTV for 8% off. And we'll start with an apology, Rob.
Yeah, my computer had to install a Windows update. Sorry for being 3 minutes late.
It's 3? 7? How about 7?
Your voice went really high there, Crypto. Are you all right?
Anyway, what we starting with? Sean Dyche?
Why not?
Go on, Ez.
Well, it's not just the Dyche thing, it's the whole fan base at the moment. How damaged are we at the moment? That there's a section of our fan base that actually are arguing for bringing Sean Dyche in. That would be such a this is a step backwards. I don't know where this has come from. I understand, in fact, I know where it's come from and I understand why it's been brought up by the club. But for the fans to jump on this, the last thing this club needs is a factory reset. You know, if anything, we need like one of those patch updates, you know, bringing in a Sean Dyche, that's going all the way back. That's Cooper ball. And there's even fans wanting Cooper back. And so I don't understand how damaged our fans are that they're actually even entertaining this. But on a different point, there's somebody who is to blame for this, and he's kind of got away with it. And I don't care what I say today. I'll probably get myself banned from the club. I don't actually give a damn, yeah? But Mr. Marinakis, what the hell are you playing at, yeah? Why are you hazing the fans with this Sean Dyche, Benitez talk when we've already said if we're going to choose somebody to bring in, or we think the right manager would be, is Marco Silva? I think that's pretty much what the fan base want. And since when did you give a shit, yeah? Go in and get what you want. Why are you hanging around and waiting and, like I said, hazing us with this Dyche talk and Benitez talk to see where the fans are, what the fans are thinking right now? But right now, I'm really fuming with this talk. Why is that even happening? Mr. Marinakis has turned into like Evangelos Marinakis, the ship owner. I want Mr. M, the Greek father, go in and get your man. What are you hanging around for? If you wanted Marco Silva, he could get him. So I don't know what he's pissing about for, and I'm just fuming with the fans even entertaining this right now. You can quite clearly see how they're reacting. There's tickets available for a Premier League game against a top 6 club for the first time in 4 years since we got up. The fans are saying exactly what I've been saying. I kind of got called out by a few of our fans, and I don't really give a damn. But don't say that because I've decided to walk out of a game or decided not to go to Forest games right now, that my point isn't valid. There's a lot of other fans thinking the same thing right now. You can see that with the tickets available. So for all those fans actually that I've heard for the last 4 years moaning that they can't get tickets, buy yourself a membership and get yourself a ticket, because there's tickets available for almost every single home game right now. So I don't hear this bullshit about you can't go to games. You just don't want to pay the money. It's simple as that. But I've said what I need to say because I've got a chesty cough as well. I'm going to have a coughing fit in a second. You guys take over.
Well, seeing that, talking about fans that wouldn't mind Dyche in, what are you saying, Ant?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, there are a few managers about. Ange Postecoglou's one, Dyche is another that I really don't want at my football club. The one thing I would say is that as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, all this talk about Ange and Benitez and that, it's all paper talk. You know, we've had a 2-week break.
Sorry to interrupt you. One sec. Sorry. Michael, I'm really sad to hear that, mate.
Sorry
Much
about
love
that,
to you and the family, bro. And I mean, I'm sure Ant won't mind, but he's lost his mum recently, so you'll know the
Yeah.
pain only too well. So all our love from everyone. I'm sure everyone in the chat will be there to pass on the condolences and hopefully give you a crumb of comfort, bro. So big up to you, Michael. I hope you and the family are okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
sorry,
second that. Obviously. Yeah, no, obviously I second that absolutely. Yeah, all this talk of Dyche and Benitez and whatever. From what I've seen, it's all paper talk. I've not seen Mr. Maranaka say that. People are saying, "Oh, look, Dyche, he lives in Nottingham, he's available, he always wants to be Forest manager." These are all true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way Mr. Maranakis is looking at it. Maybe had he wanted Sean Dyche, he would have had him by now. Maybe the reason that he's hanging on to Postecoglou is because he doesn't want Sean Dyche. So let's not get, with respect, let's not get too overboard, because the thought of it is absolutely horrendous, but we may just be worrying about nothing.
Do you think it's a PR stunt?
That makes sense, doesn't it? Logically speaking.
This is what I'm saying. If the club have put it out, that's my point. The club have put it out. The haziness with this bullshit.
The club have put it. I don't think the club have put it out. We want Dyche.
John Percy's
I don't
put
think
it
that's
out.
true.
I also
John
heard
Percy,
it.
He's not.
That's
He's
what-
not
He's a club
club, is he?
Yeah,
Well, it's not
he's
really.
in the
Well,
know, innit?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I wouldn't take it as gospel. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let's put it that way. However, it's more important that we get this current manager out, because he's just not good enough, is he? So before we start worrying about the next one, I think we need to carry on worrying about this one. But as one thing as is absolutely spot on about is that we've got ourselves into a right mess, because prior to the beginning of this season, it looked like it was going to be one of the most exciting seasons at Nottingham Forest for decades. Everything was looking good. We were unlucky not to get Champions League. We did well to finish 7th. We got bumped up to, in effect, 6th, if you like, got Europa League. We brought in some fantastic players, despite what people's agendas against Edu. I do believe we brought some fantastic players in, and everything looked good. And it has absolutely turned to shit on one decision, and that decision is not sacking Nuno, because Nuno had to go. And also, if you look at the last 3 or 4 months of last season, we were useless, and you know, it wasn't necessarily going to improve on that under that manager. So the mistake was not letting Nuno go, in my opinion. But obviously, the mistake is the person that I was staggered that he chose to bring in. Now, we could still put that right, but it's got to be done quick. And I'm really disappointed that we've given him another game. I don't understand why we're giving him the Chelsea game. So if he wins, everything's okay, is it?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
we're
not
giving
really,
him
is it?
Kick the can down the road.
a
I
game by game contract. Who could survive with that?
Makes sense. I've never understood why clubs do that. Always got 3 games. So, well, yeah, you can win 3 games and lose the next 20. You're not going to sack him because of those 3 games. You know, it doesn't make any sense. You're either good enough or you're not. And Ange's not, has been proving over the past 2 seasons. Okay. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. We need to get ourselves I think if we got ourselves a decent manager, the upturn would be immediate, both in the playing and the fans. The fans are really annoyed. I mean, I've never heard, not since 1966 when they were singing Gillies Out, have I heard such vociferous condemnation of the
Since when?
manager.
Sorry, Ant. Since when?
1966. Matt Gillies was the manager.
Oh,
Gillies out.
Was that on your 50th?
And who was up front that day?
It would have been Joe Baker. Joe Baker from Frank Wigner.
The one that made you cry.
Baker.
The one that made you cry.
The one that made me cry when we sold him to Arsenal.
Joe
Who was
Baker.
up front last week before the international break?
yeah.
It was Chris Wood, wasn't it?
Isn't Joe Baker the guy who did those TikTok videos during COVID and like danced around his house?
No. Joe Baker is one of the finest strikers that have ever played for Nottingham Forest or anywhere else.
I prefer Stan Collymore, but
the only reason we did not win the double was because Joe Baker, in the semi-final of the FA Cup against Everton, he got his leg broken by Brian Labone of Everton. Prior to that, we were top of the table in the semi-final of the FA Cup. It was only after that happened that we couldn't cope. So that's how important Joe Baker was. We would have had a double to our name, literally. We finished 2nd in the league in the semi-final of the FA Cup. And the reason was Joe Baker got his leg broken. Boy, he
And
got
who
him
did
from-
we go out to in the FA Cup last year?
No, don't, man.
I don't know.
Who did we
Etihad.
go out to?
Etihad.
Oh yeah, Man City.
Etihad is their name.
415.
Founded 2008.
Hey,
you know-
hey, Brian likes him as well. Brian likes him as well.
Do you not think that it's kind of
Zigga Zagga, Zigga Zagga, Joe Baker.
Do you
That was
not
his
think?
song.
Do you not think it's kind of ironic?
Yeah, told you.
It's kind of ironic that the club are coming out now and saying we want to get a sense from fans of if they want Dyche or Benitez or whoever it may be, but they didn't care about that when they chose Ange because nobody wanted Ange in. So maybe if they'd listened to the fans before, we wouldn't be in this problem in the first place.
Fair.
Maybe not. But can I ask Rob a question? Do you
Yeah.
think?
By the way, sorry, Ed, you can't ask fans because fans are, you can't ask fans.
Yeah, you can't ask fans.
Well,
Can I ask Rob a question? Do you think he's had the dreaded well, it used to be the dreaded vote of confidence, but do you think he's had that chat with a manager and owner behind the scenes? Because
I don't
We've
think
always-
that the owner and Ange are talking at all. I think that's partly the problem.
What are you basing that on?
Even
Yeah,
before,
what you just put that out your ass.
right? Tell you what, let Crypto go first because I'm sure he'll have the same opinion as the other three of you, and then I'll give the opposite.
All right, go on,
Yeah.
Rob. Go on, Rob. Go on, Rob. But it was a bit of a left field statement. Go on.
Right. Look, no, my evidence for that is that Ange, when he was appointed, said that he'd only ever met Evangelos Marinakis 2 or 3 times. Once when he was receiving an award from him or something like that. So I don't think that it was a close relationship to start off with, and I think that the Greek father has potentially been a little bit more hands off. Because the basis on which he hired Edu is that Edu wanted more power and more clout than he had at Arsenal. And that has been how the situation with Nuno was allowed to develop. Now, the point about this is if you'd said to me at the start of the season, would you rather have Nuno Espirito Santo or Sean Dyche as your manager? I would have said, are you mental, right? It's not even a question. So how we are now in this...
You would have chose Sean Dyche, wouldn't you?
Well, I've got 2 impressions. One is Ange and the other is Sean Dyche. And obviously they have a need for both right now. But the point is that we're not in that situation anymore. Nuno is gone. And as Ant quite correctly said, we have got ourselves into one hell of a mess now. And, despite the fact that we're 2-time European champions, etc., we are not really a very attractive proposition when we're sitting there on 5 points out of 7 games.
Not attractive. Oh my
We're not-
God.
Let him finish.
We're not an attractive the rest of the sentence goes like this. We are not an attractive proposition for a manager who is currently managing another Premier League club, right? Now, there are 3 names that we've talked about, Iraola, Marco Silva, and Oliver Glasner, all of whom would be excellent appointments, right? But I said right. I was going to not say right today. But the problem is that
so many in the comments.
we get ourselves down to 5 points from 7 games. And the longer this Ange situation goes on, it's 5 points from 8, 5 points from 9, 5 points from 10, 5 points from 11. At which point do we become a basket case? Now, I think it's very weird that the club would effectively announce the successor while the current manager is still in post. And if you ask me, this was leaked. It was clearly leaked in order to gauge fan reaction. And maybe it was leaked to have the effect that it had on you, Wolfie, which is like, careful what you wish for, right? This is what you could get instead. Now, I would say... my view on Sean Dyche is this, right? Currently, we have a manager who cannot defend and under whom we are not really scoring either. What I would say about Sean Dyche is I'm fairly confident he can fix at least one of those problems. Okay? So, if you'd asked me at the start of the season, do you want Nuno or do you want Sean Dyche? I'd say, are you having a laugh? Right? I've said it again. Trying my best. The problem is That is not the situation that we're in now. So I said on the last podcast we did 2 weeks ago, look, Mr. Marinakis, you are on a day-to-day, every day now that Ange remains in post, this is on you. You must act. You must act now before we get into a worse situation. I think Ange Ball is never going to work. It's never going to work. I think he's lost the fans. I think he's lost the dressing room. The players don't know what they're supposed to be doing. The style of play is totally unproductive. It's possession-based. We don't have meaningful attacks. We're vulnerable on the break. We're vulnerable from set pieces. Even the more mild-mannered, professional podcasts are in agreement with what I've just said. Okay? So you have to look at the, you have to stay future-focused and look at the situation we are currently in. I'm pretty simple. I start every Premier League season. I start every Premier League season with one objective. Guess what it is? Don't go back to the fucking championship. Don't go back to the fucking championship. Now, I don't think that we are. I don't think that we are at panic stations yet.
This is what I mean about our fan base. This is what I mean about our fan base. He's perfectly example of what I'm saying. We're going backwards. What do you mean just survive? Look at the season we've just had. You're talking about just survive. You're still in that mindset, Rob.
I think you're in cloud cuckoo land, Ez. Look at the league table.
No, look at where we are. Look at where we are now.
To be fair, Rob, you said before the season starts, you have one objective, and that's basically to avoid relegation. You did just say that.
It's negative. It's a simp mindset.
Right. Now, this is where crypto says Rob wants to come 17th every year, right?
You literally
third, right. This is where crypto says Rob wants to come 17th because crypto talks crap, right? That's not what I mean.
What am I saying is, are you firing shots at
I'm
me?
just waiting for you. I can see you dreaming up your comeback now, your witty comeback.
I'm not a clown. I never will be, mate.
This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying it is absolutely critical that we do not go back to the championship. And I can see this Dyche appointment being made. The name has been leaked. He's on standby. I tell you what, we might be able to defend free kicks and corners if we get him. Wow, I don't need entertaining football. I need to not go back to the championship.
Football is the entertainment sport, so you know.
Can I just also
all I would say, Chris Sutton thinks you're entitled. I'm not entitled. I'm happy with not
Chris
going.
Sutton is an absolute wanker, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I have said that myself. Sorry.
Let me bring Ben in. Ben hasn't spoken yet.
Wait, just before you do, I just want to, because Ben can perhaps go on this as well, but you've said that we're not attractive to attract any of those three managers you said. One of those managers is currently 3 points above us with 7 games gone, and you're saying he wouldn't be willing to drop all that way down to us.
I think we should be trying to get him, but I understand he has.
Yeah, but you said you don't think that we're attractive enough to attract him.
If he turns up, I'll admit we're attractive. If he turns up, I'll admit we are.
He's 3 points above us, and he's been moaning for the past 2 seasons about not being
supported. Bring him up and convince him then, because it doesn't seem to be working. I'm only going on the evidence.
Yeah, but maybe we haven't, though, Rob. That's the point. Maybe we haven't tried to get Marco Silva.
I think that we have.
No. Why do you think that?
He's got a massive buyout clause.
So it has been reported that an approach was made, and he's not.
I don't want this report unless it's from the club. I'm not interested because it's just paper talk. They talk so much.
That they haven't tried.
Have you seen the thing that Manchester City are weighing up whether to buy Anderson for 75 million? What a load of rubbish!
Cheers, mate. I did a video on that.
If you're saying that he's interested, why isn't he making it known?
Very hype, guys.
Let me turn this around. If you're saying he's interested, why isn't he calling Mr. Marinakis? I'm not feeling it.
Maybe he is.
He's under contract.
Maybe he is. I know. Rob, you seem to think that everything.
He's under contract until the end of the season.
Yeah, but Rob, you don't know what's happening. Maybe he has called him. Maybe they have spoken. You don't know.
In that case, why was the Dyche name leaked by the club, which it obviously has been?
No, it's not been leaked by the club.
They could be linked to multiple managers.
The papers have said it because they've put 2 and 2 together because he sat at home in Nottingham, big Forest fan, Ian Wone and Steve Stone, ex-Forest player. I mean, it's like for the
I'd
media,
happily have them without him. I'd have them without him, by the way.
Well,
Yeah, that's nostalgia. That's going back to Stuart Pearce, isn't it?
It's
How did that work
it's sentimental.
Yeah.
I think Ian
I'm
Wone
not
knows a few
familiar.
things about free kicks.
it's a bit like when people used to go on about Nigel Clough. He was at Burton and people saying he should be our manager. You say, look, if he was not named Clough, you wouldn't look at the Burton manager and say, let's have him as our manager. It's ridiculous.
It might make
Look how
sense
many
in the
look how many
Championship.
ex-players, like, you know, big ones like Rooney and Gerrard have fluffed.
Stuart Pearce,
Yeah, I agree
man.
with Rob. In the
Those are
Championship,
biggest
it
ones, Stuart
might
Pearce.
make sense.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna say anything against Stuart Pearce, mate. So,
I'm not saying anything bad about against Stuart Pearce, but it's clear he didn't get us up.
you know what? When he came and we won all those games at the beginning, I had people
We
saying
were
to me,
first,
Derby fans, well,
bro.
Forest are already up.
Mm.
They're already up. You know?
Yeah, we were so clear, and then that Spurs
Yeah.
stupid cup game, man. I swear to
Yeah.
God. Yeah,
He did win at Derby, though. He did win at Derby. That was one of the greatest.
Yeah, and then
afternoons I've
he
had.
got
Ben
bloody
Osborne.
Millwall, man. My old boss's team. That was a
He
fun.
got
bit.
sacked a couple of games later, didn't he?
Millwall, yeah, Millwall. Just some breaking news. Big up to Hazardous for tagging me in. So an independent. This is Forest appeal partially upheld. An independent appeal board has partially upheld an appeal by Forest in relation to the breach of FA Rule E20.1. The FA charged Forest and Chelsea with the breach of the FA Rule following a confrontation at the Premier League fixture on the 6th of October. Weird how this has suddenly been done, you know, the day before playing Chelsea. Anyway, an independent regulatory commission imposed 125k fine on Forest and a 40k fine on Chelsea. Forest subsequently appealed against the sanction. The appeal board partially upheld this appeal and reduced the club's fine down to 112,000 following a hearing. The appeal board's written reason for its decision can be read below. So that was to do with the corrupt alleged judge, wasn't it? Do you remember they had an issue against Forest?
They had a Sheffield fan, didn't they?
Yeah,
Be
something like
careful.
that.
Allegedly,
Of course.
It has been reported.
Yeah. All right. We'll bring Ben in. Let's just catch up on the super chats. Gazza with the £2 sticker. Thank you so much, Gaz. Hope you're well, buddy. And Chris, as always, with a £2 super chat. He goes, never heard so much shit from Rob.
Oh, I'm
Just
sure
go-
he has. I'm sure he
Yeah, I was
has.
gonna say, go watch the last episode,
Yeah,
mate.
you-
Just go watch the last episode together.
No, you
Big
should
up
have put,
to you.
never heard so much shit from Rob, right?
Right, yeah. And big up to Emma as well. She's bought a Greek Father t-shirt. Shout out to Em. Hope you're well. That'll be on its way to you. And hopefully the Greek Father does right by the club again. Please hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. Got over 600 in here. Ben, what are you saying? I'm sure you're about to fight back at Rob.
I can't even remember what Rob said. It's gone.
You
It's
wearing
gone,
a Jesus t-shirt?
it's gone over my head. No, I should have put it on. I might go and put it on.
Oh.
The first point I wanted to make was everyone saying that Ange's effective Forest career relies on this game. Like, it is Chelsea, don't forget. Like, even if it was Nuno going into this game, there's no expectation that we should go out and beat them. So let's see. But I think moving it on to Chelsea, this is going to be one of the best chances we've got to actually beat them, because their manager is going to be sat in row Z because he's suspended. Cole Palmer is out. I think between them, they've got something like 11 injuries or suspensions across the whole team. We're at the City ground. We're not going to get a chance like this to go and actually get some points from them again this season. So
Wait. Are you saying, do you think we can win this match?
no, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
So
But-
what are you saying?
I think we can get a point. But the problem is that if we get a point, then what do we do with Ange? Because everyone's saying lose, he's out. Well, what happens if he gets a point? Then what do you do? Just kick the camera down the road again? But look, it's going to be very interesting to see how this international break, and now Ange has had more time with the players, to see how they do come out and play. Because for me, they've got to revert to that formation they played against Betis in the first half. Because that's the best football we've seen from them this season. And I know Ez didn't even see that because he only watches one half of the match. But
No, that's the only half I did see.
no, that's good then. That's
That
good.
was
You
good
watched the right half. You watched the right half.
Yeah.
But if we can come out and play like that, look, some of our players internationally, people like Anderson, etc., have been doing absolutely fantastic. So we do have informed players. We just need to come out and prove it. And I'm sure it will be drilled into them on Saturday that the fans are not happy. And I would hope that they come out. And if they don't want to play for Ange, then come out and play for the fans. Because you can tell by the tickets that have been sold that the fans are not happy with what's going on at the club at the moment. And I know a lot of people were wound up. I think a lot of season ticket holders had their seats moved in the Trent end as well, who people have been sitting there for 30 years and they've bumped them to a different seat. So there's lots of unhappy fans. The way to cure that is to come out and is to try to win. And if you're not going to win, then look like you're trying, because the football recently has been dire. So it'll be an interesting match unless we get absolutely hammered. I'm not convinced that Ange will go. If we're 0-0 and in the 90th minute Anderson 2-foot someone and they score a penalty, I'm not sure Ange will be sacked. I think he's going to be given a bit more time. He's only been here a few weeks. He's not the manager that I would have chosen, but I agree with you guys. I don't think people like Sean Dyche, etc., are the one. People are being sentimental just because there's some ex-Forest players in his team. Sean Dyche, for me, is a guy you bring in to stop you from getting relegated. And I know Rob has that. I know Rob has that mindset of we're fighting relegation, but we're what, 5 or 6 games into the season, so we've got to go out there and act like we're trying to better last season. We can't have this negative Rob attitude. We need to go out there with pure positivity. None of this Lib Dem bullshit. We need to go out there and try to win the match.
It's either negative Rob or hopium crypto at the moment, because
all we've got left is hope, Ez. All we've got left is hope.
I know, but there are a few glimmers of hope with the players that might be available, and you guys already touched on it about first half against Betis. And with crypto, I would start with the same players if they're all available that we started with in that first half, and play them in the same positions, and that means having Morgan Gibbs-White on the right, and play in Sangare, Anderson, and Douglas Luiz, because that was the best football I've seen, not just in a couple of years, in probably a decade or more. And it is a glimpse of what we can do with the right players. But it's not about how we start, by the way.
It's because I always speak sense. I mean, I'm well known for speaking the most sense on this channel. So
definitely, if you read the comments, that's definitely the opinion I get when I read the comments.
Right.
But there is the option, if those players are available, for Ange to play that team. And I do want to see that again. I do want to see how we can play. And this is the kind of
what's
Chelsea
he got
team.
To lose? He's got nothing to lose.
Exactly, what's he got to lose? Yeah. And the fans, he's more likely to get the fans on board doing that. And that's what I said. He should have done that in his first home game back. He's had 4 away games, and his first home game, he plays a defensive team, and we ended up getting nothing out of that game. So, absolutely, he's bought it on himself. It's a good chance for him to maybe win some of the fans.
To be fair, he could lose his job and never have a career in football again for the rest of his life. But if you look past that, the thing I don't want him to do, if he comes out,
and that wouldn't be a great tragedy. The guy's 60 years old and a multimillionaire.
Yeah, but if he lives to the same age as you, he'll be bored as fuck. Look, I don't want him to play 5 at the back. Okay? 5 at the back, no way. I don't care if we win with 5 at the back. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see this ultra low block football. It's boring. It's not Ange ball. I want to see Ange do his thing. And if he can't do it, doing his own tactics, then leave.
I have seen this stat chucked around. He didn't win the first 7 games at Celtic. And then 37 defeated. Do you mean undefeated, Gripper? I just, because there wouldn't have been just like 44 games.
That's his Tottenham record.
No, what I'm saying is like those stats just mean nothing to me. You're in a different team, different scenario, different players, different settings, and what have you. I've just got this really weird feeling.
You know when Celtic play Falkirk away, they get about 6,000. You do realise that, don't you? That's the level of competition you're talking about.
Hey, don't talk about my motherland like that.
And that's how many tickets we've sold on Saturday.
Can we talk about the ticket sales for a minute? Because I think that the fans are entitled to not buy tickets. We've got to remember what's happened is that, I mean, when I was buying the tickets for last season, they were sort of £35, £40. The same seat, which is, by the way, a standing seat, right? Oh, I've done it. That's 4 rights now. The same position.
if you don't point it out, people might not notice.
No. There's people that were counting them.
They're counting. We should have a little right counter. Someone want to be on the right count.
The same seat has gone from £35 to £60.
Right.
They have invested in the team, but they've also replaced a popular manager with an unpopular one, and it hasn't worked. And since the opening day of the season, we have scored 1 goal from open play at home, and that was the one that Ndoye scored against Midtjylland. So in 2 months, 1 goal celebration, apart from the Chris Wood penalty on 94 minutes that didn't make any difference. 1 goal from open play since the 17th of August. And rather too many come in the other way.
That's because our players can't shoot.
So the point is that the value for money. When I watched Forest beat Man City with 1 shot on target, when I watched Forest beat Man United with 1 shot on target, I would have happily paid £60 or £70 for that. But instead, I'm paying £60 to lose 1-0 to Sunderland with 65% possession and no actual goal threat. So I think that the point is that if you're going to start calling the fans disloyal, and you've said, go out and buy a membership. So you have to go and buy a £49.99 membership.
You
Plus
don't even have to do that now. They're on general sale, I believe.
No one called the fans disloyal, did they?
But you still need a membership for even on general sale ones, for basic membership. But that's what we have to get every year, Rob.
I think you need
Rob,
a core membership.
Buy that every year. But Rob,
I am
we have
not
to buy
aware
that at the start of every season to be eligible. No, let me just finish that point because you keep saying this. We still have to buy that every year, don't you? Ant pays about 100 quid for his membership. I paid about 80 quid for mine.
It's like 90 quid
at the start of every season. So that's regardless of it. So I'm saying just get it now. If those moaning, because I hear so many fans over the last 4 years moaning, but I can't get to games. They just don't want to pay the money. And then they moan at us for wanting to walk out.
It is expensive though, isn't it? I mean, a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got 4 tickets on my phone at a minimum of £50 each. That's a minimum of 200 quid.
Up at Brian Clough's 70 quid a ticket. If you go with a family of 4, that's what, 280 quid plus travel.
Exactly. But also, did you see what they did with the hospitality?
Yeah,
the hospitality is down to under 200 quid.
I think the issue is that nobody's denying it's very expensive, but I don't think you can use that as an excuse for not filling the ground, because I can guarantee you 100% if we were 5th in the league, we'd be filling that ground. Yeah. So it's a choice that people make. So it's not that they can't spend the money.
Or if the tickets were still 30 quid.
Which is okay. I fully understand that, but let's not get it twisted.
Even if the tickets were still 30 quid.
The way we're playing football and the manager we've got.
No, but even if the tickets were still 30 quid, you'd think, well, let's give it a go. We've got to support the team. But 60 quid to watch turgid football.
I'm not denying that it's a perfectly valid reason not to go. What I am saying is they would go if Forest were 5th in the league and, looking good. Like last season.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Last season,
I feel like it's a bit of a protest.
We would have sold out.
So don't forget as well. I see a few people in the chat. I
want to go to Chelsea on Saturday. I have no interest, and that's one of the things that I'm really annoyed with Postecoglou about. He has taken me from being really excited for every game, couldn't wait, like international breaks were murder, to actually welcoming them international breaks and thinking I wish it lasted 3 months.
Can I come back on that comment? Can I come back on that comment? Because someone's made a good point there. Scottish Forest guy says £30 tickets don't get us new quality players, Rob. Let me just take you back to the accounts which Forest published for the last financial year, the last submission. Ticket sales accounted for about 11 million out of about 130 million revenue. Now, if you put the ticket prices up by 50%, like they have done, it maybe gets you to 16, 17 million if you still fill in the ground. So it's made 5 million difference to the bank balance this year. So
Correct.
that
Yeah, but
buys
Rob,
that buys you 1/7 of Amari Hutchinson. So I'm afraid to say that
Or
Rob,
Silver's
wrong.
compensation.
comment is wrong.
Rob, that's not how it works in business. They're
How
always
do you
going
think Bournemouth survived with fuck all fans, right?
Yeah, they're
No,
always-
listen, it's an indisputable fact that with the TV money and with sponsorship, with external money coming in, with hospitality and all that lot, the actual match day and fan, the money he contributes is becoming less and less relevant to the point where they could let us in for 30 quid each and it would make no difference.
It's how Brentford survived. It's the money's coming from the Premier
Precisely.
League and Sky.
Exactly, Rob. You're 100% right. Although they do sell players as well. It's not just, but that's part of it.
I have acknowledged that a great investment was made in the team, and I think that the increase in the ticket prices would be justified by that if it was coupled with entertaining or rewarding football. But no goals in the league from open play since the start of the season. It's a long time without a goal to celebrate, and I feel like the atmosphere has gone flat. And of course, the only thing worse than a flat atmosphere is when it turns toxic against the manager, like it did the other night. Now, I don't know what they can do about these ticket prices, because the problem is they've sold the season cards, and the season cards are presumably based upon a relation to the normal match day price. So you get
but they should do like somebody else for a quid or something like that.
I think that they should do something to retreat from the prices that they're on now. I really do. They could give something back to the fans, and it wouldn't hurt them.
No, because the thing is, it will still sell out.
I think that we're what we've had to do over the past few years is catch up, because we were very, very, very inexpensive. We were one of the lowest championship in terms of how much it cost. We were very low. We've had to bring ourselves into the 21st century. We've had to bring ourselves into line with other Premier League clubs. And I think you find that our prices are kind of mid-table. The kind of mid-table. They're not the highest, they're not the lowest. The kind of mid-table. So we're not actually doing anything wrong. Unfortunately, football is expensive for every Premier League fan these days.
Yeah, and you can't sit here and say, oh, it's only £4 or £5 million in ticket sales. There'll be people employed in that club, chief financial officers and accountants whose literal job it is to make as much money as possible. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, you know what, we'll forget about that 5 million. We won't.
Don't you remember, Crypto, when the Forest Supporters Trust or whatever spoke to, I think, the last chairman, when they were discussing about whether to charge or not for going on the ticket list, they actually said, well, we decided how much we could charge. And look, we've had 20,000 people, so that shows it was a success. Why are we paying to go on a waiting list? There's no reason for that whatsoever, except greed. And the money they made out of 10,000 people, a tenner each, I can't work out. It's probably about £1 million. I don't know, maybe 100,000. I don't know. But whichever way you look at it, it's not a lot of money to the club. But it's people having to shell out again for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, they could have made that a quid, to be honest. I think it was purely to gauge how many people are on the waiting list more than anything else. But
why charge it all, Ez? Why charge it all?
I don't know.
But you guys are forgetting it's a business. It's a business.
It's a business,
I know to us it's football and we're fans, but at the end of the day, they are a business there to make money, and that's
You're
the reality.
absolutely right.
It's the reality.
You're right, but by mistreating your customers is not necessarily a good business move.
No, but they would probably argue that £10 is not an extortionate amount to go on away.
Well, they would argue that, but they're not living week to week, on benefits with 3 children, are they?
This is crazy. If your business lost as much money as Forest, you'd be in jail right now. No Premier League club makes money.
Rob, I'll have you know, Rob, that our business has never, ever not been in profit.
Right, good. But what I'm saying is that does not apply to Premier League clubs. Every single one of them is loss-making. That's why half of them are now state-owned. Okay?
But Rob, you're getting technicalities because they make a loss on purpose. They don't have to pay corporation tax and stuff.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
They are in a
Yeah,
competition.
but you don't want to pay a ton of tax on profit.
As they
No,
can,
let's
within
be honest.
rules about how much
You
they're
can
allowed
rule
to lose.
state-owned clubs out, Rob, because they're in it for a different reason.
Sure,
They're
but
in it for
not
money.
a
They're in
single
it for a
Premier
different
League
reason.
club is a viable business. They're all losing money, and there's rules about how much they can lose. So
Correct.
don't say it's a business.
Yeah, but-
Sure, they think that.
Okay.
Premier
You
League
just
clubs
got-
aren't viable business.
Rob, you're not.
They're all losing money. That's what the PSR is
It's not
about. It's
a
how
viable
much
doesn't
money
matter.
can
when you
you
sell
lose.
it. It's
Rob,
only when you sell it. Only when
Exactly.
you sell it.
Yeah.
Rob,
But
you're
to sell
talking,
it, you've got to be successful.
Rob, in the words of our
How much did
account-
Marinakis buy Forest for? Can I remember?
was it 200 million? Something like that?
Nah, it wasn't 200 million.
No, it wasn't that
50p.
much, bro. 90.
Now, how much
70
someone in
million.
the chat will
I don't know,
remember?
I can't
And
remember.
how much is Forest worth now? Even if Forest is making bigger millions in losses, the
The-
net gain is huge if you was to sell it. Yeah.
Look, the point.
Running at a loss doesn't mean your business is doing crap.
No, exactly. The point is, right, in the words of like our accountant, for example, lose as much money as you can. Because if you lose money, you don't pay tax on profit. And I'll tell you something else, right? When I used to work,
What a
when I-
crazy thing to say.
I know
That's
it's
tax
mad,
avoidance.
I know it's stupid.
That's tax
Let's
avoidance.
No,
let's
it's not
lose
tax
money
avoidance.
so we
I-
don't have to pay any tax on our profit.
Yeah, but you pay
Because
tax.
people like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
pay
yeah,
tax.
dividend tax.
So
Anyway, I
selfish.
don't want to talk about
Okay,
that.
whoa,
I want to say.
why
Let me just say
turn
one
into a
more
tax
point.
debate?
One more point. When I worked
50
at
million.
when I
50
worked,
Get Kieran on.
one more
Stop
point.
trying
When
to
I
get Kieran on.
when I worked when I
make his point, man. Go on, Ben.
when I worked at Sky, right? Sky B is one of the highest lossing, should we say, not a word, but highest loss-making companies in the world. Do you know why? Because they operate on something called good debt. And that is they borrow hundreds of millions of pounds in loan to get themselves into debt, to make a loss, to avoid paying corporation tax, and they pay that debt back monthly. And it's called working on good debt, so-called good debt.
We
Are
all
you reading out
understand
chat
that.
I'm
GTP?
going to say allegedly, just in case.
Each
Allegedly.
year they were making 300 to 400 million pound loss as a business
Okay.
on purpose.
Okay, I don't know why we're talking about this. Let me just go back
let's
to
get
my
back on
point, yeah?
point. Let's
Let me
get
just
back
go
on
back to my
Right,
point.
let me just, because you know I like for facts. He bought it in 2017 for 50 million, and it's
Yeah.
now valued at 566 million.
Exactly.
He's done his bit.
And he's put a lot of money in, but he hasn't put 450 worth millions.
But
worth
you
of-
only get that return on investment when you sell it.
yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
it's not a
Yeah, but it
profit
goes down as his-
in that respect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
Rob
goes
doesn't
down
know
as
what
his
he's talking
assets
about.
worth that now, isn't it? So-
Let's just say, because Rob's just spitting absolute drivel. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
But let me just go back to what the
Please
debate
don't
was.
compare football finances with any other finances in the world. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but Rob's
Yeah.
sitting here saying, talking absolute shit out
You
of his
spend
butt.
£100 million on a player. There's no way you can ever make that money
He
back.
doesn't know what
Ever.
he's talking about, right? You don't know what you're talking about, right?
Can't even go for a wee without you criticizing me
Cool,
behind my
I
back.
know.
I can always hear you.
Let me just
Anyway,
get my
Ed, you were
point
going to
out.
make a point.
Yeah, I was going to actually make the point about what we were discussing. Let me just make my point clear. I'm not going to the games because I can't afford it. I'm deciding not to pay to watch that shite and to be in a toxic environment, because that's what it became after I left the game against Midtjylland. I wouldn't have been happy sat there listening to fucking you getting sacked in the morning and singing Nuno songs. I wouldn't have taken part in that, but I wouldn't have been happy.
Well, I mean, that's because you left
witnessing
at half
that.
time.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm glad I left when I left. And the reason I sold my Chelsea ticket back is because I don't want to go and watch that shit. It's not because I can't afford it. So my point was, there's a lot of fans who've been out there for the last 4 or 5 years, or 4 years at least since we've been in the Premier League, saying that I can't get to games. I can't get to games. Yeah, you can. If you want to pay the money, you can get to games. So don't say you can't get to games anymore, because it's available. And the reason the fans aren't going is probably similar to me. It's not that we can't afford it all of a sudden. They decided not to pay to watch that shite. And I hope there's a couple in the chat that would back me up on this one. But it's you can call it a boycott, you can call it what you like. But while it's like this, I don't want to go. I don't want to pay my money to sit there and watch that shite.
But people can make their own decision.
I'm going on pure.
Of course they
inertia.
can. But I'm making
They
my
can do what
decision.
they
I'm
want.
not telling anybody else to follow me. You know, make your own decisions. But that's what I'm saying. That's why there's tickets available. It's not just people can't afford it all of a sudden. It's not just because
Bro,
of
let's
that.
be real, man. When we were in
Afford it.
Div 1, having to pay 26 quid or 28 quid to play Scunthorpe and Grimsby and all that, it's not like the stadium was full. I was buying my tickets on the door. It's like, you just turn up.
They used to have. You used to have schemes. I used to get in for kids for a quid till I was about 30.
Yeah, no, that was cup matches usually.
Look, it's
How the
very,
hell did
very
you get in for
simple.
kids
Very,
in a
very
quid, man?
simple.
Shave the.
If team's doing well, people won't complain so much about the
Exactly.
price.
Of course.
Very
people-
simple.
Yeah, people want to see good football, but it's up to them if they don't want to go and watch Ange ball. You
I
can't
mean, this
blame.
is a Chelsea game we're talking about. We're not talking about we're playing Burnley at home. We're playing Chelsea at home. A top 6 tied, and we haven't sold it out. That wouldn't have happened in the last 3 years. This is and it's not because people can't all of a sudden afford the extra 10-20% rise. It's not because of that. People don't want to pay and watch that shit. So sort it out, Forest.
Speaking of people not
I
paying,
don't think there's any chance.
oh,
on
you
earth
ruined the
they'll
segue. That was
do
such
it.
a nice segue into Jess.
It was a nice one.
Speaking of people not
Go on,
paying,
yeah.
Jess has paid. Shout out to Jess with the £5 coming out the allowance there, Jess. Appreciate it. Dear Lord, we don't need Dyche. Cough.
Is that because he's Irish?
Yes, of course it is.
Hang on,
Yeah.
In a
He's
roundabout
an
way.
Irish Cooper.
Job for the
He's
boys.
the Irish Cooper.
In a roundabout way, our taxes have just paid for that super chat. I'm not sure.
True.
I don't make
Yeah,
any more.
yeah.
super chats.
Benefits, don't you?
Yeah. So thank you to everyone in the chat, minus Jess, all the employed ones in the chat. Much love. Thank you, Jess. Big ups to Andy with the 9.99. He goes, stop thinking we're a relegation club. Get a proper manager in regardless of the price. And Chelsea game, the Batiste game was for the moment, not Ange. His only good spell that Wolfie love Ollie in. What the
What?
actual fuck?
Ollie Gunny Solskjaer. I think Andy's been drinking.
Andy, man, how many times do I have to tell you about your auto predict, bro?
What's that
Now we
little
got to
OP
sit here
thing?
trying to decipher it. So we can start on the base that we know Andy is Ange out. So stop thinking we're a relegation club. Yeah, but you think we're going to get relegated with Ange, Andy. So what are you saying there? Get a proper manager in. I think we'd agree with that. Regardless of the price and
Get a proper
the
manager
Chelsea
in,
game.
regardless of the price.
Of the price.
Of the
My
price.
God, man. Andy, I'm buying you a new phone, man. Thank you so much for the 9.99. Appreciate
Not
it.
Andy's only good spell that Wolfie.
I think I don't know the Ollie in thing, right? Chris with the £2 says, good job. Mr. M doesn't think Forest are too expensive. There's the little two insinuation. Shout out to you, Chris. Big up to Carl with the 59 Norwegian krona, I want to say. He says, guys, if you're making millions, that's the best financial advice.
Exactly.
Else you find yourself losing millions to Uncle Sam as tax. Talk to an accountant.
Exactly. Rob, talk to an accountant.
Yeah, but we don't lose anything to Uncle Sam in tax.
Yeah,
That's
we
Yeah,
just
don't.
American, yeah.
You don't, but Marinakis will.
Big up to you, Carl.
Why?
Appreciate
Has he
it.
got businesses in America?
Yeah, it's American.
What, Uncle Sam?
Uncle Sam's American.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam's America, US. Uncle
Talk to
Sam.
Uncle Rob then. Whatever.
Keir Starmer.
Okay, just one final thing on this fan thing going on. You know, my biggest fear about Saturday is if we go behind.
Oh God. It'll be
No,
Armageddon.
I'm not fearful of that. We went behind against Betis, and that's when we woke up. So I haven't got a problem with us going behind.
I'm not
That's
talking
not an
about
issue.
can we win the game. I'm talking about the atmosphere.
Yeah, but the fans need to be able to. Yeah, you fans need something to shout about. That's down to the players and the manager. You can't put it all on the fans. You know, I have had to go at people's reactions, but that's down. It is still down to them. But it's based on what they're seeing. It's based on what they're seeing. So
Did
it's down
anybody
to the
notice
players.
the problem? This is actually a pre-Ange problem because that West Ham game, we played out the last 10 minutes of that West Ham game with a half empty ground. So I don't think it's purely just Ange. I think it's the prices, and if you're going to tax somebody that hard to come and watch Forest and then slap him in the face with losing 3-0 at home against West Ham, some people just can't take it. And I think, you know, it's soul destroying. So
I think it's more about how they play. Because sometimes you lose and you look like you're actually trying, but sometimes you lose and you just look like you've given up completely.
No, it's
it
all
is
about
worrying though
results.
because
We played
first
some
two
shit games
seasons-
last season, and everybody was delighted.
The
Yeah,
first
if you win,
three
but
seasons,
not if you lose.
First 2 or
Correct.
3
I
seasons,
agree
we
with you
were
on that.
totally dependent on the atmosphere at the City ground to get us over the line.
You can
I mean,
lose. You can lose in a different way though. Like if the game is backwards and forwards all match and it's really exciting, and then they nab a penalty in the 96 minutes and you lose. That's not the same as getting hammered 5-0 because you're crap.
No, you're right. No, that's an obvious statement. It does. Yes, you can lose well, but you can lose well amongst other games where you're winning. You can't lose well when you keep losing.
Yep.
Because it gets to the stage, Crypto, where you think, I don't give a shit how we play. We need to win.
I know. I agree. I agree. We preferably we get the 3 points, of course. But at what point? At what point does the problem or the blame transfer from the manager to the players, or vice versa?
It doesn't. It's always the manager.
It doesn't. You're so over the top with this, Ant.
No, it's 100% the manager. It doesn't matter how it's not down to the players at all.
100% the manager in any scenario.
If a player makes a huge mistake and costs us a goal, do you blame that on Ange?
Yes.
Right. So if Sangare handball,
because he's picked the players, he's trained the players. If he's done them and put them in such a situation where one mistake costs us the game,
exactly. I agree.
Something wrong.
That's the best thing you've ever said. It's absolutely right. Ange is a very unlucky manager. It just seems to be unlucky every game. And after a while, you think, who's the common factor here? And as you say, if you've not had any shots on target, and then you have that stupid Dominguez decision about the simulation, and then that gives Sunderland 3 points. Well, the fact is, that's overlooking the you didn't have any shots on goal for about 70 minutes.
I agree with you on that point. But if it was, for example, a 0-0 and no one was having that many shots on goal, and you lose because of
the thing, Crypto, you can't stop isolating things into one game.
Yeah, but things like that happen. Look,
if we played brilliantly tomorrow and won 4-0, I would promise you, I would still be Ange out. I promise you. It's
Wait,
not
hold on.
down
Okay,
to
so let me ask you what Ben's trying to ask you, but I'll ask it to you in a better question. If Forest beat Chelsea on Saturday, will you give Ange the credit?
No.
Well, you have to, because you can't.
I'm not giving him credit for anything. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand how deeply I feel that this is the wrong manager for Forest. I don't think you.
That's nothing to do with the question.
You can't say. You cannot say if we lose, it's 100% Ange's fault, and if we win, it's 100% the players doing well.
You're not saying that either, though.
I can't.
He's just saying he wouldn't give.
No, but that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
That's ridiculous, Ant.
You can say what you like, but you chat shit at the end of the day.
If he wins 10 games in a row, he wins 10 games in a row.
God almighty. You know, in the past, you've had teams from the 3rd division knock out a Premier League team. It doesn't mean that the manager's brilliant. It means that on the day, they got the job done somehow.
Well, what
the manager was brilliant.
The players cause a goal and concede, and then you're blaming that on Ange.
Of course it's Ange's fault. Of course it is.
You're just trolling. You're just trolling.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. You cannot isolate one game and say, oh, he's a... He's lost 30 games on the trot, and then he beats Liverpool 1-0 with a last-minute penalty. That doesn't make him a fantastic manager. Because Ange Postecoglou last season lost 22 games out of 38 in the Premier League.
No one's asking me that.
Does winning the Europa Cup make him a good manager? No.
Okay, let me spin it.
No, it doesn't.
Wait. Let me ask you this. It's 0-0. There's 1 minute left. He makes a substitute to bring on Cali Muendo, and he scores a 30-yard screamer. Who are you giving the praise to?
To the player, of course.
Oh, I'm going to Lou.
Because if he'd have played the right team in the first place, we might have won 4-0. You see, you're talking about ridiculous extremes, and we can all play that game.
No, you started the
down
extreme.
To one game, whether he's a good manager or not.
No, wait, was that the question?
Because he might get a good result does not make him a good manager.
Okay, was that the question? Did anyone ask you, is Ange a good manager? Or did we ask you if Ange
to give a manager credit, that means I'm saying he's a good manager.
Bro, how is that? How are you inferring that? I don't get that.
Because that's what a manager's job is. He's either good or he's bad. His team's either a good or bad. Just because they get the odd fluke result doesn't make him a good manager.
Okay,
Doesn't mean
can
that
a bad player?
Doesn't mean his tactics on the day were brilliant.
Okay,
You're not
can a
even
bad
taking
player
into
have a
account- you're not
good
even
game?
taking into account how the other team played.
Okay, can a bad player have a good game?
A decent game, yeah. A decent
Okay,
game, not
can a
good game.
bad player score a winning goal?
Of course he can.
Okay, would that player get credit for getting the winning goal?
Not from me. I wouldn't say he should be our striker next week. No,
This is semantics now.
it is semantics.
No,
Rob.
this is
They're
agenda.
trying to get me to say that
Agendas,
he's a
I was
good
gonna
manager.
say,
And
yeah,
they won't
yeah.
do it.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to see if you'd be objective about it. If Forest go and beat Chelsea, and then we beat Porto, and then
Yeah,
we
but
beat Bournemouth.
Because I don't believe if Forest beat Chelsea, I honestly don't believe it's down to Ange. I honestly don't believe it's down to Ange. I
Okay,
think it's
if Forest go and win the
despite
league, if Forest go and win the league,
They're not, are they? Let's not be silly.
okay, no, let's go down this path.
No, you're just being silly now. We're not going to win.
I
the
think
league.
it's down to Edu.
Right? If Forest beat
I blame Edu
Chelsea,
100%.
you know England in the World Cup. They got to the World Cup European Cup, European
No,
Championship.
that's a better
final.
point. That's a better
Right.
point.
Got to
Despite
the final.
Southgate,
Does that mean that Southgate's tactics were good? No, it
they got
doesn't.
there despite Southgate.
Despite him. And if
Yes.
we win on Saturday, it will be despite Postecoglou. It means the players will be taking responsibility on their own and doing their
But
own
what
thing.
if you
and
see a
ignoring
style of play? And
Postecoglou.
okay, because I need you to be objective on this, and I don't think you're being objective.
am
I
being
think
He's not
there's
being
one-
objective.
You're
He's
not.
not being objective.
I have to
It's
go.
I am.
Bye,
I've
everybody.
explained
Okay, let me
myself.
give you the scenario. Let me give you a
Everyone say
scenario.
bye
You
to
did watch
Rob.
that first.
Bye bye.
You did watch that first half against Betis. Were you impressed with how we played in that first half? Let's just isolate
I
that.
was. I was.
Okay,
I was.
so let's
Surely
say we
like
get
Man
a Crypto, let me just finish what I'm saying, man. Fuck's sake. Right, so let's imagine come Saturday, we get a 90-minute performance like that and we win the game. Would you credit that to Ange? Because that's not the type of football we've been playing for the last 3 seasons. So would you give Ange any credit for that?
Fair
I'll
point.
tell you what I'll do. I'll say yes, because I know it ain't going to happen. So I could say yes. Doesn't matter.
You don't.
Okay,
mean
you
that.
think-
You
okay.
don't mean
He's
that.
got a back door out of everything, hasn't he?
If that happened, Des, and you asked me afterwards, then I would have to make a more definite statement.
That
But
would
as
be
it's
my
not
dream,
like it's
mate.
happened, I can just say, yeah, of course I would.
Thanks for agreeing at least. Thanks.
Okay, let me ask you boys.
You did
Actually,
well,
I'll tell
Des. You did better than the others.
I'll tell you what we're gonna do. There's a new feature on YouTube now where we can switch over to a members only stream. I want to test it out. Chat, do you want us to test that out or not? Just quick Y or N.
Or 10 minute Zorro stream. 10 minute Zorro
What did you
stream.
just say there? Sorry, go on. I missed that.
Huh?
Just repeat what you said about the member stream.
So you can now switch public streams to members streams while you're live. I do want
That's
to test
mad.
it.
That's
Yeah.
mad because I was just thinking we should do something like that, and I didn't know it was an option. And I wrote it down in my notes. That's mad.
No,
Okay,
you
you
don't
can do
want
that now. Yeah, so let's do it. Let's do it.
I want to test that. What we might do
Oh, you
is
got
like
Tony
going
Nicholson.
forward.
No, do you know why?
maybe
Do you know why?
like
Because
bonus
you know
20
what I was
minutes at the
thinking?
end.
Do you know what I was thinking? Because the stuff that we talk about off air is so much better than what we talk about on air sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
like- it's like- No,
we
just
get
finish.
back
It's
up.
like
Yeah,
Big
he'll
Brother,
get
Little Brother.
cancelled, Des.
But we're not, oh, man, we're being prison. We're being Keir Starmer's jail by tomorrow morning.
It'll be like Big Brother's Little Brother or Big Gor's
Bro,
Little
if
Gore.
Anne, if Anne brings up
Gore
the
extra.
cardboard box, man, then we are in trouble.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Test what you
'Cause
like.
I
can
like
find
what you
something
did. I
better
like
to
what
do.
you
I
did
hear.
on the. I like what you did on the watch alongs as well. So at half time, I think we should definitely bring that in. That it was from my Discord,
Discord
chat, wasn't
chat,
it?
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's a
Oh, yeah,
good thing going
that's quite
forward.
novel, that was.
How are
That's
you
quite novel.
money grabbing bastards, man? Like, you did only sat here for an hour completely free of charge to you, Patch Adams,
on,
man.
hold
I
on,
just
hold
would
on,
like
hold
to
on.
do
Can I
something nice for the
respond to that?
members.
Can I respond to that?
Go on.
Why it makes we have less people watching us on a member stream. We don't
That's
make
true.
any money at all out of a member stream.
Anyway.
Yeah, and we've just sat here. For
In fact, I
free.
don't know why he's doing it. It's
It's
because he doesn't want to pay us. That's what it is.
He's not gonna pay her. I don't wanna pay.
Exactly. Wolfie's a multi-millionaire. He doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah.
Making a huge loss.
Do that
Yeah.
stuff and watch your channel lose to other pods fast. I don't really care what the other pods are doing, Pat. I just seen a new feature and I want to test it out. I don't. Why is this suddenly become a thing? But anyway, I want to talk about. Let's test it. I'm gonna test it, right? I just want to test it, guys. YouTube have done a feature. It ain't that deep. Let's just try it, okay? Love to be a penny behind Wolfie. Oh, bro. But you gotta find the penny that's in front of it first. You're not paying anymore. All right, Jess. Fair enough. I'm just gonna try it. It's gonna be 10 minutes. That's all. Because Ben's gonna head over to Chelsea Fan TV. God knows what he's gonna be saying on there. To do a preview for them. So it's literally gonna be 9 minutes, right? So we're gonna test it. That's it. It's a 9-minute test. I don't even
say
know how
bye-bye
to do
then.
it.
Let's say bye-bye. Oh, I've gone all look.
What? What?
Oh, you gotta do a start thing.
I'm on the water.
Okay. I don't know. I've pressed the button. I don't know if it'll do it or not. But let's see what happens. I want to talk about Douglas Luiz though.
Are we
Make a difference.
members bit now?
I don't know, man. I've pressed the button and like I don't know.
Right.
Oh, wait,
I'm
there's
not
a
a member
countdown
anymore.
on it. There's a countdown
Let me-
on a minute.
We'll see if
I'm not a member.
You're not a member. Am I a member?
No, I'm
Yeah, I'm a
paying
member.
99p a month. Like, man ain't made of
I
money.
like to help Wolfie out. I know he's
Shut up.
struggling. I
What's
like
up?
to help him out.
Don't let me tell you what I had to get you to do last time you were at my house. What did I have?
Oh
what
no!
membership-
Don't.
Yeah,
don't.
What?
You still paid a membership to a certain channel.
I'd forgotten all about it, and as mentioned it, I went fuck, and I looked. I am. So he had to show me how to cancel it.
No
Wait,
change.
there is a 1 minute warning. I don't know. Has it worked? Are
Maybe
we still live?
I don't know. We're still on YouTube,
No,
mate. As far as I
It
can
says
see.
there's 575 watching. I can't imagine